Welcome back to Dune Weekly on Arrakis Central. We have some light news. Not a whole lot going on Dune right now. In the world of Dune, just a little bit of news out there. A couple news articles we're going to cover. Might be not that long of a stream tonight, just for the fact that there is not a lot going on. There's just not a lot going on. I'll wait for a couple people to get in, see if we get a couple viewers in here. We'll cover a couple things, though. We'll cover a couple news articles and then talk a little bit about Dune Awakening, what's going on with them, Funcom, and some stuff next week. I think the Tokyo Game Show is going to be next week, or whatever it's called, the game. I think that's what it's called, the Tokyo Game Show. And they have a booth there. I won't be there, but I will have a person there that's a representative for the channel. So very interesting, right? Pretty cool, right? I just so happen to have a person that can get there. That's gonna get some video. Might not be the greatest thing. Might not be like the greatest interviews or footage. It's just gonna be some footage. Maybe talk to a couple of the people. Hopefully at Funcom. I don't know how that works. Maybe I should email him and say, hey, I won't be there, but I got another guy from the channel that will be there. I don't know if that even is a thing. I'm pretty new to this stuff. Maybe he can ask a couple questions. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So we'll get to see a little bit of that. But we're pretty much going to just kick straight into this. This might be only about a 30-minute stream or so. And then I might kick over to my, I might go play some Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, which I'm trying to beat. So, we'll get straight into the first news article tonight, which is Dune fans should brace themselves for bad news next month. It's not that big of a deal, though. It's just basically Dune Part 1 is leaving Netflix. So if you haven't watched Dune Part 1, which I don't, if you are watching if you're a Dune fan, you should have seen it by now. But it will be leaving Netflix on October 1st. But it's on, I believe it's going to stay on Max. So this is just for, I think this is just Netflix. Yeah, right here it even says Dune will still be available on Max. I own the 4Ks. I don't watch it on streaming because 4K is way better anyways. The sound. So yeah, I should do some test videos on sound, but the sound when you do the streaming with DTS, Dolby Digital, and all that kind of thing, off like Vudu or Max or whatever streaming platform you're using, the sound's always worse than on a 4K disc. So yeah, so that's pretty sad for people who are all they can afford is Netflix only, so they won't be able to watch Dune anymore. But you should have seen the movie by now. So yeah, that's that article. Nothing too crazy here. I'm testing an ad blocker I have running right now. Pretty cool, right? So we'll keep some of the ads off. So this is from Collider. I don't necessarily really care about their website, but they're talking about Dune leaving, so that's pretty interesting. Cool. There's still some. Nope, there's not really any side ads popping up. Nothing too crazy there. And so that's about it for that story. We're going to talk in the next article, which would be... So just remember, if you did want to watch Dune Part 1, free on Netflix, it's leaving October 1st. So keep that in mind. Alrighty, moving to the next story. We're talking about... So this is something from Screen Rant. So Screen Rant basically was talking about Dune 2 confirms. So now we're talking about Dune 2. A major problem with Hollywood blockbusters, it kept getting worse in the last decade. So basically, Dune Part 2 was a blockbuster success. It wasn't like $1 billion movie, but it made like, what, 750 It probably tells you in here a million worldwide, which is for the budget. It made money, right? For the budget was on like 140 million for that movie, maybe less. I can't remember. It probably tells you in this article, but yes. So this is 2 days ago. Yeah, grossed 711 million global, which for the budget that it had of, I think it was, I can't remember the budget. It was somewhere around 120, 100, between 120 and 140, I think, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. So the movie made a lot of money. You know, if you count the marketing and all that, it made its money plus, you know, more money. So it made money. So now they're worried that since there's so many flops out there, there's just so many flops out there now in Hollywood that it's basically movies like this. And the year before, you had Oppenheimer, right? Oppenheimer made almost $1 billion, which is like a biopic, rated R biopic, which is like the whole movie is just people talking. Basically, it's a good movie, great soundtrack, great cinematography, great acting, but it's not normally a movie that would make that kind of money. But just shows that people are wanting these well-made, high-production movies, and they're sick of this kind of agenda-driven stuff, right? So this is a good sign, I think, for Hollywood in the long run, because if you have, I mean, depending on how you look at Dune Part 2, they put a little bit of modern cinema, modern society crap in there with making Chani all, you know, kind of angry girl thing, which she's not like that in the book at all. It did spice it up a little bit, I guess, because in the book, she's basically just kind of go along with everything. She's kind of just there. And they're, you know, I guess they kind of made her more modern girl, but I'm mean girl. I listen to no man, but that's kind of what they did in the movie. But the book ain't like that. But Lady Jessica is the one in the book that's actually kind of like a little bit wary of Chani. You know, but really in the book, Paul's like basically running them the whole time. In the book, Lady Jessica actually gets scared of Paul because he's just so calculative and figures everything out instantly. And then Chani's just in love with him, so they're just kind of doing their thing. But yeah, whatever. That's the small nitpick of the movie. Yeah, but I mean, there's just so much modern agenda crap being put in movies now, and I think it's starting to die off. It looks like. So, and even if you put a little bit of that in there, it works with a movie like Dune 2, right? Because it's so well made, so well acted, so good, such a good movie that it just basically it still works. It doesn't ruin the movie, like. So, I mean, we're not going to talk about Disney and Star Wars Acolyte. Cough, cough. Yeah. So there's a lot of disaster. It even talks about the disasters in here in this article, like Ant-Man and the Wasp and all that stuff, right? Argyle, that movie I haven't even watched it. It looks so bad, so god awful. Ant-Man and the Wasp look horrible in the trailer. I never watched that either. I refuse to watch a lot of these movies, actually. So basically, Dune 2 is making the gist of this article is that Dune 2 made all these other movies, these big budget movies, look like pieces of junk, which they are. And they lost money because they're bloated budgets, all this stuff. And they're junk. They're trash. And it made them look bad. Because they did more with less money and made a great movie. That's basically the gist of the article. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, I mean, Disney's failing, basically, at a failing company for movies anyways. That's just my personal opinion, but it's pretty factual at this point, too. Let's see here. It's starting to hit games companies, too. Maybe I'll talk about that next week. You know, like Ubisoft and all that is yeah, I'm trying not to get too much into that stuff in this channel, but it's hard not to this days with how bad some of the stuff coming out, like the Lord of the Rings show and all that other stuff. It's just I've tried to watch these things, and my personal preference, I think they suck. So that's just me. Let's see here. Heck, I don't even remember the last good TV show I watched that I really was like into and liked. Let me think. What was the last good show I watched that I really liked, TV wise? I did like Masters of the Air on Apple TV. It's just like the bomber squadron movie made by Tom Hanks and them, like Band of Brothers, but it was about the B-17 bomber squadron. Although halfway through that show, it got a little slow, but it wasn't bad. It just got kind of unnecessary because pretty much historically, after we got air superiority over Europe, it kind of just basically kind of toned down, and that's kind of what they do in the movie. They show that after a certain point, we just had free reign of the air, which is called Masters of the Air. So, but they should have did that at the end instead of having it go like halfway through the show. So, yeah, the first like 4 or 5 episodes, it's really awesome bombing missions, and then a lot of them get captured because it gets shot down. So the second half of the series is kind of like a bunch of the main characters trapped in German prisoner POW camps and trying to escape and all that, which is interesting. I just would prefer to see the bombing stuff more. Like the whole season should have just been like bomber missions, or something. Or they should have sprinkled in some of the they did sprinkle in some of the fighter stuff, I think, like the Tuskegee Airmen guys. They had a couple of them, but I was really hoping they were gonna do P-47 Thunderbolt crews, the ground assault guys. That was the workhorse of the war. The P-47 Thunderbolt is my favorite fighter of World War II, but they didn't do that. That's just here or there. But yeah, so that is probably the best show I've seen in a while. That's recent, is Masters of the Air. And For All Mankind on Apple is pretty good. It's like an alternate history of the space race. Russia gets to the moon first, so it kind of accelerates, the space program, and they go into, but that has a little bit of wokeness, I guess, but it's not done badly, so it doesn't make you like hate the show. It actually, you kind of like the characters, because it's like in the 70s and 80s, and it's changed the whole space race because it's an alternate reality, history of it all. So then you have like Russia has the first female astronaut in like the 70s, and so the US has to now do it, and they push that forward. So it is like there is that element there, but then it's like you like the characters. They're actually good. So I didn't hate it. That's a good show too. For All Mankind, pretty good. So other than that, there's really nothing else out there that's really good. Dune, getting off subject of this article, Dune Prophecy comes out in November. I can't remember the exact day, so just remember HBO Max, Dune Prophecy, 10,000 years before the events of Dune, the prequel TV show. It looks good, although it's loosely based on the book Sisterhood of Dune. We've talked about that in the other videos. It looks very loosely based on that book. I really kind of like that book, so I might have a hard time. We'll see what happens. I might have a hard time with that show because if it doesn't, it's not going to have Vorian Atreides in it and also other characters, I'll be kind of upset, but I don't know what they're going to do. I think it's going to be very loosely adapted. It's going to have basically the baseline stuff. It's going to have House Carino, Bene Gesserit, the locations. Are they going to talk about the Butlerians? Dude, if they don't even mention the Butlerians, I might have a problem, a big problem with that show. I really think I might. So we'll see what happens. It might be well made, but yeah, I don't know. Going back to this article though, I'm getting ranty here. Let's see. Where were we at? So yeah, this article going back to the Screen Rant. Basically, Dune Part 2 put these other big budget movies to shame, and Hollywood's having to reevaluate what they're doing. So that's basically what that is. And moving on to the next is the next one. So Dune director teases one character will have a bigger role in Messiah. I am kind of like interested in this because this is talking about Alia, which is Paul's younger sister. She's not born in Dune Part 2, right? So she's the movie. She is born in the book. She's the one who kills the Baron. She kills the Baron, actually. but Paul kills the Baron in the movie. So in Dune, I'm taking a quick breath here. But so Dune director teases one character will have a bigger role, and he's talking about Alia. And Anya Taylor-Joy is playing Alia. She's supposed to be like 14. She's supposed to be like 16 years old in Dune Messiah, the book, because Dune Messiah takes place about 14 years later, and she's like 2-3 years old in Dune, the book. So it's, yeah, so she's like between 15 to 17 years old, that range. I can't remember exactly her age in the book, but she's like an adult. Right, so I don't know how much of a time jump they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna give Paul gray hair and stuff? Is he gonna be like 37 years old now? Because that's kind of how old he's. 15. He's 15 in the book. 17 when I think at the end of he's about 17, 18 when end of Dune. So this is a rough estimates here, guys. So that takes about 14 years later. So yeah, that's 10, 28. He's like 35, 34, 35 in Dune Messiah, I believe, if I remember correctly, when that's happening. So he might not have gray hair yet. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I didn't know Denis Villeneuve originally he wanted to wait like 10 years to make the movie Dune Messiah. So Timothée Chalamet actually looks older in real life. He mentioned that. But the Dune Part 2 did so well. The studio was like, "No, you make it first. Make Dune Part 3 now." Because it'll make its money. We know if you make it good. If you make it just as good as Dune Part 1 and 2, it'll make all its money back, plus it'll make 400 or 500 million, right? So the problem I have with it, there's not a lot of action in that movie or that book. There's actually not any action in Dune Part 1 really, that either. Or Dune the book. They added all that. Like they added a lot of that to the movie. So he'll have to add something in there to make some action in there. There's like there'll be like a lot of assassination scenes, attempts in Dune Messiah. I'll leave it at that. And Jason Momoa will have to come back. Yeah, I was guesstimating. You're Mr. Dodora 73. Yeah, I was doing it off the top of my head. You're probably right about the timeline. I couldn't remember exactly off the top of my head, but he's like 30. Yeah, so yeah, 17 in Dune at the end of Dune. I thought it was 14 years. I could have sworn I saw something that said 14 years Dune Messiah. I have to go back and reread it because it's been like a year since I read Dune Messiah. So I had to go back. I'm rusty on it myself. So, oh, you're reading it right now. Okay, yeah. So I'm rusty. Yeah, so good. I need to go back and refreshing on it too. So yeah, that sounds about right actually. But then I don't want to ruin it. But Jason Momoa is gonna have to come back for that, right? As the I'm actually probably gonna. There's some things I do know. I remember about the book that I don't. I know key characters, and then it's not really fresh in my mind. I'm reading Paul of Dune right now, so that's the one that is fresh in my mind, which is the direct sequel to Dune, which is the Brian Herbert sequel, which I like. It's actually pretty good. Let's see here. Yeah, but I don't know how they're gonna do that in the movie. What do you think? I mean, what do you think? How they're gonna make Anya Taylor-Joy older? She's supposed to be like a teenager. She's supposed to be like 15 years old or some shit in freaking Dune Messiah, right? Do you remember how old? It says it in the book, doesn't it? She's like 16, or it just says she's like blossoming or something, right? I can't remember exact age off the top of my head. Maybe they're just gonna do says. So Paul dies in children at the age of 38. Yeah, I don't remember how old he is when he dies. I don't remember the age on that off the top of my head, guys. When Paul does die eventually. He's younger though. I mean, he's not like 60. But how old is he? Yeah, I don't remember how old he is because he's actually, the prophet or whatever. But yeah, I don't remember. Let's see here. Yeah, there she is right there. So, because remember, she's like, "I love you, brother. I love you." She's too old. Because, dude, how old is Anya Taylor-Joy? Let's look it up. Let's go to Google real quick. How old is Anya Taylor-Joy? Let's look it up right here. Live on Google. She's 20 years old. So she's well over. Well, how old is Timothy Chalamet? They're the same age. So he's the same age as her in that movie. Oh, jeez, that's funny. Yeah, their ages are way off. He looks the part in Dune Part 1. That was good. He's 28. He looks younger than 28, dude. He's a kid. I didn't look like that at 28. I was already getting gray hair. Yeah, so let's get back to that article. Yeah, so basically that was sums up that article is that Dune Part 2 did so well money-wise it put the rest of Hollywood to shame for the year. It's still, I guess, what's the highest grossing of this year? It's like probably an animated movie, right? Let's look that up. Highest grossing so far. High is it that one movie that the Disney movie highest grossing movie of 2024? It ain't Dune Part 2 though, I know that. Inside Out, yeah, and then Deadpool, which I haven't watched yet. I just kind of feel like Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of not really my. I'll probably watch it here in my home theater. It's not really. Yeah, Dune must. Yeah, old Thomas there. Aaliyah's supposed to be like 16 years old or something, maybe between 14 and 16 in Dune Messiah. I can't remember her exact age, but she's like that age. And because I don't want to spoil anything, but she's like basically riding around with a certain person investigating and doing things in ornithopters and all that. And I don't want to like spoil anything, but I'm waiting for Deadpool. It comes out on streaming. I have a giant home theater with a big giant 4K projector and Dolby Atmos and everything, surround sound out here in my house. So I'm waiting for um um I think that Deadpool comes out here soon on like October or something. Deadpool 3 on streaming. Let's see what they say. As of November 25th, Deadpool 3 and Wolverine is available on HBO. No, when can you buy it on demand? 'Cause I'm not waiting for that. I'll just buy it. I'm probably gonna buy that movie because I heard it's so good. When is it coming to streaming? I hate these things. October 1st. Oh, it's like in a couple days. Yeah, so October 1st, that's in 10 days. Exactly 10 days. Yep, I was right. Yeah, so it comes out in 10 days and I'll watch it. Have you seen? Yeah, I have the DVDs. I bought it when it came out on DVD. I have the actual DVDs for Dune. It was a 2 disc set. And I have them right here sitting next to me. Actually, I don't have the box. I can't find the box. I have the box in storage somewhere, but I had the 2 discs. Um, yeah, but you can watch them on YouTube. You can go watch Children of Dune, and you can go watch the sci-fi, the sci-fi. Some people say that's the most closest to the book. Is the sci-fi series, Dune. I just remember some of the special effects and stuff not being that good, and not that's one of the reasons why I did, because it was a TV sci-fi shit series, so it was like low budget and a lot of it. I just remember me not liking it as much, but I remember the eyes, the blue, their eyes were good, because that's the problem with the Dune Part One and Part Two movies, is the eyes aren't blue enough to me. In the book, they're like really like blue, really blue. They're described as being like blue and dark blue, and they're not. They don't. They just for whatever reason they didn't want to do that in the new movies. That kind of bugged me actually. So go watch Deadpool. Yep, I'm gonna watch Deadpool. Have you seen? Yep, I've seen Sci-Fi. I watched it when it was on TV, and then I bought the DVDs way back. I'm old. I'm like I'm in my mid 40s, so I remember when it came out. I remember when Dune, David Lynch Dune came out. I was a kid, and then when it came on TV, and I watched it all the dang time. I love that movie. I still watch it, even though it's not book accurate at all. Although Aaliyah does kill the Baron in that one, so that part's more lore accurate, and it does show more of the Spacing Guild, so that's more. And the only the weirding modules, that's funny, dude. But as a kid, I loved it, dude. I loved the weirding modules. I had like bristle blocks. I had bristle blocks, right? And I would remember bristle blocks. I used to make the weirding module, and I would make a thing and wear it around my neck. I can't remember, like foil or something. And I would run around the house, Muad'Dib, Muad'Dib, when I was a kid. And they had the toys. They had the Dune toys and KB toys in the mall when I was a kid, and I always wanted them. My parents let us watch all that stuff, dude. I was like, how the heck? I was like, when did Dune Part One was 1984, right? I was 6 years old, so I'm glad I grew up in the 80s like that. I remember all the movies, dude. I remember going to watch all that stuff in the theater. RoboCop, and my dad took us to everything rated R for whatever reason. They did that. So I remember I grew up watching all that stuff in the theaters. Well, we didn't watch Dune in the theaters. I watched it until it came on like TV, or I think it was on TV. Dune. I mean, I have the 4K box. How about the special box? I did a video. If you go look at my channel, I did a video looking at the box set of it. And the cool thing about Dune 1984, you're older than me, so you remember even better stuff than me. But I didn't get the. I wasn't born yet. I didn't watch Star Wars. Star Wars came out the year after, or the year before I was born. But I watched Empire, and well, I don't remember Empire. I was probably too young. But I watched um I watched it like on TV or something. And then the next door neighbor, they had like the first VCR or something, or early version of it, and they had VHS of Star Wars on tape, dude. And that was a big freaking deal back then, right? We can watch Star Wars whenever we want on demand. It was nuts, dude. The neighbor the lady next door had a VHS, and they had the tape like hidden in the closet. They had to go up for whatever reason. They didn't want it to get destroyed or kids get it or something. So every time I would get babysat by the neighbor, they would pull out Dune for me, or Star Wars for me. I mean, not Dune, but oh yeah, I got that. Thomas Anomalous. I got that too. The dude, that game is freaking brutal, dude. Fighting the AI. I get my ass whooped. I've only beat the computer like twice, dude. And Dune Imperium. I have Dune Imperium, the board game too, but I haven't ever played it yet on board. I've played it only on Steam. I have it on easy, and they whip my ass. I'm better on Dune Spice Wars. As a tradies, I'll mop up every time. It just takes a while to play the game. Last week, if you weren't here, I was playing as the Fremen Dune Spice Wars, because I kind of had a shorter stream, and It freaking the Fremen are you don't have as much authority, so it's harder to like take over stuff. I haven't really figured out how to play the Fremen. I got to go back and do it. So let's go ahead and go to the that was kind of like my last story of the evening for that article was how are they gonna get Tani or Tani Aaliyah. So Anya Taylor made an uncredited cameo in Dune. Oh, cause she's not on the credits. She is. She's on the credits. Because I remember seeing her name on the end credits, so that's not true. I'm pretty sure she's on the end credits of Dune, Part 2. Oh yeah, man, I want to play Awakening so but there's no because we need a full up game Dune game, man. The Dune Spice Wars is cool, and then Imperium is just a board game, right? So it's not like a full game. And Spice Wars is it kind of eh. It's great, but it takes too long to beat a match. I need to survive, like you're saying. I need to survive. I need the Dune Awakening to come out. And you guys missed it earlier. If you haven't heard, I'm not. So Tokyo Games show is next week in Tokyo, Japan, right? And Dune Awakening has the booth. I can't go, obviously, but stay tuned. I got a person going in as a representative for the channel. I got a person going, and so that's big news for me. I got a guy that's gonna go and try to get maybe an interview for the channel. He'll definitely so there's definitely gonna be pictures, videos of the booth at a minimum, and the whole display, and then probably of the whole con. No, I don't know how good a quality this is gonna be. This is not a professional like photographer or nothing, so yeah, but we'll see what happens. But I'll have something. I'm gonna try and see if you can get in there and ask a couple questions, particularly about um particularly about cross progression for Dune Awakening. It's something I personally like is when a game is cross progression because I play games across PC, PS5, and Xbox, right? And I go between all of those platforms like quite often. And so hopefully I can just have my one account and I can so like Baldur's Gate 3 has that cross save. Could you imagine a Dune game in the level of say Jedi? Yeah, dude, but like imagine like a like gameplay mechanics of Fallen Order, which was a pretty cool game, but like more open world where you actually have to like go around like Red Dead Redemption, but it's Dune. Like you're a smuggler or something or a Fremen, and you got to go around, and it's like single player kind of open world RPG where you have to go around and like and mine spice and go and do things. That'd be pretty fun, right? Or like I don't know how I don't I'm very confused on why game studios haven't jumped on more Dune stuff. Is it just is it too niche of a it must just be too niche of a game. I just they haven't really gone full in on it. Maybe they're really trying to. I don't know. I don't have an answer for this. I have no reason why they're not doing it. It's a perfect freaking setting for video games, so it makes me frustrated. The problem is if it gets in a. This is gonna sound weird, but in a weird way, I'm kind of happy that it's maybe not that big. Because look what happened to Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is so huge, and now they're ruining it on TV. And like, I don't know. I think the problem with that Lord of the Rings show is it just looks too clean, right? It's not gritty enough. That was the good part about Dune, is it actually looks dirty and dusty, right? The old Lord of the Rings movies, they're like gritty, like lived in, like actually a lived in world. This Dune or this this Rings of Power show, everything is so crisp and clean, and I don't like it. I hate it. It looks like a British. You know how England has that different kind of that weird resolution. I can't remember. They have PAL, but they have their certain kind of they're they film in different resolution type thing, and it looks weird, right? Like your Sky News, your Sky channel looks all weird. Maybe if HBO is successful with Sisterhood, we might. I don't know. I mean, it's. I'm gonna watch it, but I just don't know how successful it's gonna be. Unless it's. Yeah, the problem is with Dune is if you water it down for the masses, then your actual Dune fans hate it. Well, there's a lot of people who didn't like Dune Part Two. A lot of book people, and I try to get. I try to keep an open mind with it. Which there's a lot. I made a video, 10 things that are big changes from the book, from the um biggest 10 biggest changes. Well, some 10 of the biggest changes. Some of the changes from the book and the movie. It's quite a bit. It's actually almost more. There's more changes on Dune 2 than there was on Dune Part 1. I think. I think there might have been more. I wish we would have saw drunk Duncan confronting Lady Jessica. That would have been awesome. And then Thufir Hawat confronting Lady Jessica. That whole subplot was gone, right? They cut that whole subplot of Lady Jessica, them thinking she was the spy and not Dr. Yui. So almost all the House Atreides thought that she was the spy the entire time in the book. I mean, she wasn't obviously, but it was still Dr. Huey. But they left that whole subplot out of the book, and then they left Gurney trying to kill her at the end, towards the end of the book when he gets back to the siege. He tries to cut her throat, and then Paul has to convince Gurney that it wasn't her and it was Dr. Yui. They left that whole scene out. I've read Dune like a bunch of times, so that one's really vivid in my mind. It's the best book. I mean, obviously, out of all of them. Yeah, man. I I kind of like Mandalorian show, but I liked Rogue One. I liked Rogue One the movie. I liked The Mandalorian. I stopped watching like a couple episodes into season 3, and I kind of didn't really like the whole what's the I call her Starbuck, the Katie Sackhoff character. She's that. I just never have. I was never invested in the Clone Wars stuff, and I was never invested in like the Star Wars Rebels, the car animated stuff. I was already like an adult when that's like well older when that stuff started coming out. My son, on the other hand, he kind of liked the Clone Wars growing up, so that's cute. But I like her, but I don't. I want to see the Mandalorian doing stuff, not other people. So I just whatever. See, I think the first book should have been 3 films. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's if they put everything in there, it could have been 3 films. I think that would have been. What would they have done with the third book? If they ended. If they ended Dune Part 1 at the same spot, you would have started off with kind of the similar beginning. And where would you end the second movie? It's a good speculation, but I feel like if we had a third film fit in between the 2 films we got movie, it would have slow financially greenlit. Yeah, because I don't think there would have been enough action in Dune Part 2 if there was a third, if there was 3 movies. I just don't know if it would work. It'd be a lot of exposition and a lot of talking. It might have been boring. I don't know. I think the way they didn't only well Dune 2 Part 2 almost didn't get greenlit because Dune, if you guys remember, Dune Part 1 came out during COVID, and it was put on HBO Max and theater at the same time. I went and watched it like twice, 3 times in theater, twice in theater, and then I bought it, so you could buy it at the same time. So I don't know if people remember this. You could watch it on HBO Max for free, but I bought it on Apple or on Vudu or something. So I mean, I watched Dune Part One like freaking. I've watched it like 12 times, probably, maybe more. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I kind of like Dune Part One better than Dune Part Two in a weird way. I don't know why. It just flows a little better, I think, and it seems a little closer to the book, except for Doctor Kynes being totally a disaster. But that whole thing, the swap, and then how they kill her, that was like the worst part of Dune Part One was Doctor Kynes is supposed to be freaking Chani's dad, right? So it makes no sense what they did, why they did that. Yeah, yeah, they uh little Leto getting killed, that wasn't even in there. It was, yeah, but I didn't mind them changing Paul killing. I thought Lady Jessica was gonna kill the Baron. That's what I thought they were gonna do. Um, at the end of Doom Part Two, I when Paul and then that little battle scene at the end was a little too short. We really didn't see Paul beating anybody up, and that was kind of, they should have that should have been a little longer. It would have been cool if they had, like you were saying, they had two movies, three movies, and then like half an hour. Basically, it would have been like, remember Return of the King was like the half of the movie was the war. So if you would have had a 2 hour movie, 2 hour movie, a 2 hour movie, and then you could have had like kind of the setup in the beginning of Dune Part Three, if they had a Dune Part Three, and you could have had the beginning being kind of like Gurney getting found by Paul, and you could have had the standoff with her and Lady Jessica, or him and Lady Jessica, them catching those undercover Sardaukar. Remember, and he kills them all but leaves one, I think it is, and sends them back, or it's more than one. I think remember he sends those Sardaukar as messengers back to the, so they can go back and report to the Emperor. In the movie, they just have him send a scroll. Remember that he sends that scroll, but in the book, it was he released those Sardaukar he caught, even after the Sardaukar had killed a couple of his people. Raban in the book. Am I wrong about this, guys? Raban just kind of dies off, not camera, so to speak, because it's a book, but like he dives off. Like they just come in and mention it. Raban's been killed or something like that. Am I wrong about that? I think Raban wasn't even killed by Gurney in the book. I think he was just killed randomly, like by in the battle or something. Well, I gotta go back and read this now. I need to go look that up, guys. If I'm saying something wrong, I can't remember. Now I can't remember. It's very small part. It's like in passing. Raban's dead. It was real quick. So he actually got more of a death scene than in the book, I think. Let me see here. Let's look this up, guys. I gotta look this up now. Now I can't even remember. I read Dune not long ago again. Looks like, how did Raban die in Dune? Fatally stabbed in the throat by his former slave. I guess he was. No, that's in the movie. In the book, that was, so in Dune is killed by Stilgar after being cowering under a pile of shields during the Fremen attack. Yeah, but I don't think it's like Stilgar just, yeah. So Stilgar just, I remember him just saying it though. I don't remember it actually describing the scene. I think Stilgar just says it, right? I'm gonna go back and look it up. I'm gonna go after the live stream tonight. I have to know now. I'm gonna go find that chapter in the book. Now I want to know. I get fixated on that book. I'm obsessed with that book. So and I always forget little details, and I always have to go back. I have like a tabbed. I have a tab. I have like 4 or 5 different copies of Dune here. I got the audiobook. I have this highly cool ornamental version of it I ordered. It was like $100 version of Dune. It's in plastic still. It's like this leather bound. That's all it is. But Yeah, I'm kind of a. It's like Dune is like is my favorite, probably one of my favorite books of all time. That's one of the reasons why I made this channel. 'Cause I love Dune. I love Dune more than any other franchise. Maybe well, not anymore, but I love Warhammer 40K. But I've kind of weaned off of that now, just because of the fact that it's too freaking expensive to play that game, the tabletop. I did Dune role playing game. I've never got into that. Oh, I need to get back to my. Oh, well, I guess I'm done with that one. So yeah. So I think something about Anya Taylor Joy. Oh, so she met with Denis Villeneuve before she made Furiosa. Which, guys, this might be a bad take. I didn't like Furiosa. I liked her in it. I thought I liked the characters. I liked the story of it. Dude, the CGI was garbage in that movie, dude. I hated the CGI. It made me hate the movie of how this horrible the motorcycles and vehicles look. Like after you watch, go back and watch Fury Road back to back with Furiosa or prequel or before. Dude, Fury Road looks, it's because all the practical effects with the vehicles. It's so much better, dude. So Furiosa was is horrible. I didn't hate. I kind of liked the movie, like the story of it and her origin. I didn't mind it, and I like her. I like her a lot. But dude, that movie just sucks as far as the visuals. It's bad, and I even like the fact that what's his face was more evil than a Morton Joe. I really like that how Chris Hemsworth he was more of a jerk than Morton Joe. I don't think they're gonna. Well, the Ixians have to be in uh Dune Part 3. They have to be talked about. Are the Thalaxu? Well, it's not the Ixians, but yeah, I mean they have to be talked about, right? Because his buddy is gonna renounce him, right? What's is Paul's childhood Ixian buddy, his childhood friend's gonna renounce him, or maybe I'm confusing that with Dune. No, it's Dune Messiah, right? In Dune Messiah, his buddy is like wants him gone. Ixian guy, I can't remember his name now. It might have been Paul Dune. He says that though. No, I think it because in Paul of Dune, what Lord Fenrir's going around behind Paul's back, and he's talking to like um Lord Fenrir goes to like um dang Kaitane, and he's like basically talking to the remnants of the Sardaukar. And the Sardaukar, they're all banished, right? So then Sardaukar basically like we're just basically second rate bodyguards to the Emperor now, and all this crap. And it's dude, Paul of Dune's good, man. That's a good book. It's a direct sequel to Dune. It takes place like what 4 years later, and it has like a scene where they're well into the jihad, and there's a I don't if you guys have read that book. It's not Frank Herbert. It's Brian Herbert's sequel, so extended EU or whatever you want to call it. But there's a scene on Arrakis that Paul he knows the Fremen are gonna have to go invade planets that have water, so they've never operated in water environments before, right? So he makes like this giant swimming pool on Arrakis and fills it with water, and they're like, "This is such a waste." And he's like, and Gurney's like pushing them into the water, and there's some of them drown. They bring them back to life. They bring the rest resuscitate them. They make like a training pool near Arakeen. There's a whole scene of that, and then one of them they throw a coin in the pool, and then he's like, "Go and retrieve the coin." And like, "Oh, we can't swim." They don't know how to swim, right? So then, because the water, so one of them drowns. They resuscitate him, and he has the coin in his hand. And then now they start worshiping that guy because he is he's he died from the water, and now he's come back to life. It's a sign, right? Because they're all worshiping Paul Moadib. It's great. And then they go and start like just wiping planets out, dude. They're just wiping planets out. Like they're like women and kids, like we surrender. And Gurney's watching them because he's leading these forces on these planets, these assaults, and he's like, "Oh, these guys are just murdering people left and right. And we're doing this for Muad'Dib. We're doing this for Muad'Dib." And he's like, "No, no more killing people that surrender." Gurney says, "Right? I'm leading this. I'm the commander in in the stead of Muad'Dib. He put me in charge, right? So because Paul doesn't invade every planet. Stilgar invades Kaitain. Gurney's leading forces to take other areas. It's a freaking cool book. It's really good. But yeah, I suggest checking it out. And then Lord Fenrir is going behind them and like and inspiring. Oh, and you find out that this is spoiling stuff. You find out this is a spoiler. I'm going to tell it anyways. You find out that Piter Debris, the one he was hanging out with, helping the Baron in Dune, he was a Gola of Piter Debris the whole time. The Baron had freaking all these Golas of Piter like ready to go at any time. He had like on order. He had ordered a bunch of them. But then Baron dies, so they're just sitting there like still in like whatever stasis or whatnot. And there's a scene when they're like, "Well, we've been testing." They're testing freaking like nerve agents and crap on all these Golos of Piter. They're like, nah. They're all dying. You got to read that book. It's pretty good. I don't know. I don't hate them. I read a lot. I actually haven't read all of the extended EU books. I'm doing Paul of Dune right now. I'm actually in between Mentats of Dune and Paul of Dune. And I kind of, I was kind of being lazy and reading the prequel ones past that because that show's coming out, and I was like, well, maybe I'll watch the show first, and then because I read Sisterhood of Dune not long ago, and that was a pretty good one. But that's why I'm kind of like having a kind of a negative, somewhat negative look view on the show. But yeah, it is what it is. Oh, so Dune Awakening next week. They're in Tokyo Game Show, whatever it's called, the Tokyo Games Expo. And I have a person that's going to be able to go to it for the channel. So I will have, hopefully it works out right. I'll have video, at least video of the booth. And then I can't go obviously because it's in Japan, but I have a person that can go that's in Japan. That person that's kind of a friend of the channel. So that's good. And they're going to go and try and I'm going to see if I can get that person in, or they can get in there and ask some questions, or at least to one of the person, maybe one of the Funcom people that's there on the floor, and ask about the. I really want to know about cross progression. Will I be able to just log in to my PC and then I can log into the PS5 account and keep playing the game, even though the console doesn't come out for. They haven't said yet. But there hasn't been any news for Dune Awakening since Dune Awakening Direct 3, and I did a video on that already. That was, 2 weeks ago? Other than that, they're still doing closed beta for what we know. So, as of right now, closed betas are going, and it's set for early access / release of the game on Steam early 2025. That's all we know. So, I guess we're kind of done with the article about Anya Taylor-Joy. She's going to be in Dune Messiah. But have you guys been to the Funcom Dune Awakening site? Have you guys checked that out? You can check out. I go there quite often. Please go to Dune Awakening Home right here. We'll pull it up. So Dune Awakening Home right here. It says right here, coming to PC early 2025. So that's all we know. When is open beta gonna happen? I don't know. They haven't said. Really, we're at the the mercy of Funcom. So I've signed up for the beta. I'm signed up for beta, but I never got anything about it. So, and I'm part of the creator program. Let's see, I hit 5,000 subs way back when, and they approved me to be on the creator program. But I don't. I'm on their Lucrit whatever. I don't really know what to do with it. To tell you the truth, um, it's not available there for beta. So I'm assuming maybe they'll allow creators to stream it at some point. And is there really anybody else doing dedicated Dune stuff like other than like Secrets of Dune? Dude's awesome. I haven't seen much coming out of uh Quinn's ideas. That guy's awesome too. And then I think Nerd Cookies does a lot of Dune. Her channel, she's awesome. There's like really three big Dune channels. I'm not really one of them. They're all way bigger than me. I'm just the but I'm really the only Dune guy really covering the game that I know of that's covering Dune Awakening all this time. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're much of gamer people, those three channels. So that's why I kind of took this angle, focus on the media aspect of it. They're way better on the lore, everything. Those guys are smart, man. Like Quinn's ideas, the dude's freaking on it. He knows all the lore, and so does Secrets of Dune. He's big into that, and those guys are awesome. They were the inspiration. Those three channels were the inspiration for me to start this one because I was like, man, these guys are doing Dune stuff. I want to do Dune stuff. So yeah, and I'm kind of a goof. They're all professional and more put together, and I'm just a big goofy guy. I just like to have fun. So I'm not really trying to be fancy, but I'm just a regular guy. This is just for fun. I have a full time job, so I don't do all this stuff for money. I wish I could, man. If I could do this full time, I would. I just gotta get people to like my channel, I guess. Let's see here. I'm just a fun loving guy. Just want to have fun, play games, and I'm a gamer, so I'm probably more of a gamer than them. Those the other Dune channels. I'm probably more of a gamer than I am a Dune kind of purist kind of guy, if that makes sense. So this happens to it's finally mixing for me here, Dune, and I played a lot of survival games. So that might be a reason why I also have kind of a leg up on some of those guys. I've played Rust. I'm a big time Ark player, dude. If you guys played Ark, I'm a hardcore. I don't play it anymore, but I was a hardcore for like years. I was playing Ark, big giant bases, and I was farming wyverns and all on Ragnarok and all that stuff, dude. Like the eggs, and you have the heaters and the coolers going and balancing the hatching. Dude, I was nuts. I was way into it. Breeding dinosaurs and having Chinese tribes come through and wipe our base over and over again and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then I was Valheim player. Let's see, big into Valheim, was big into Ark, Rust, a little bit of Rust, not so much. I'm not gonna claim I was some big Rust big time player, but Sons of the Forest, I love that. I played that a lot. I got really good at that game. I kind of got burned out on it. Let's see here. I played a lot of MMOs like Star Trek Online, big time Star Trek Online player, dude. Huge. I was huge on that for a while. I had to stop playing. I still have my account. I have like 3 accounts of that game. Oh, and before I get even farther than any of those, Eve Online. So I still play. Big time Eve Online player. Like probably too much. I had to like tone back because that game's huge pay to win. Huge pay to win on Eve Online. So hopefully we had this discussion last week, I think, or the week before. Some people were worried that Eve on or Dune Awakening will go that route where you can inject Solaris into the game, like Eve Online, you can put Plex in, and I hope not. I really hope that Dune Funcom does not make it fun inject money injectable. other than like skins or stuff like that, maybe cosmetics, things like that. But if they start doing like now if they do like a game pass, I wouldn't probably be against that. Some sort of little game pass. But if you're allowed to like inject money in like Solaris for the in-game currency, that would be I'll have a problem with that. I don't want that. Cuz then it becomes freaking whale central like EVE Online. so so hopefully they don't do that. I don't think they have not mentioned that. They haven't mentioned any microtransactions from any videos I've seen or any cuz I've watched every video they've done. I do every time they come out with something, I'm making a video. So if you have questions, just go back and go in my channel history. You'll see recently I've been putting a lot of clips of the stuff they've released and the different Dune. So if you don't also know, they do Dune Awakening Direct. They're on episode 3. It's a 20 to 30 minute video, whatever podcast, whatnot of talking about Dune. It's the guy, the creator of the main director. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. And then the lady who kind of hosts it. They go back and forth. They talk about the game. So I think he's British. I think he's some sort of English type background. And I think she's German, maybe, or Danish or something. I don't know. I don't know them, so I'm just taking a guess. But and then because their headquarters is in Sweden. No, where's Funcom's headquarters? Norway? It's somewhere like that. Yeah, where's Funcom located? Norway. So, oh, they got stuff in North Carolina? Oslo. Yeah, so I was close. Norway. Where's Dune Awakening being developed, though? Let's look it up. Where is Dune Awakening office? Didn't say. Well, I know where Dune Awakening is. I know it's on Arrakis. Jesus. Where is their office? Maybe it says here. Doesn't say anything. Well, I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, where's Dune is Dune Awakening being developed in Norway? Or is their main office somewhere else? It said it's on Arrakis. That Google result. Where's Dune Awakening? On Arrakis? Wait, no crap. Oh man, that's funny. So if you look right here, guys, you'll see Dune Director. I have the screen kind of cropped here. Let me. Oh, what did I do? There we go. So Direct episode 3 covered that. Episode 3 with Zoe Geschwind. That's the lady that hosts it, and then she talks to the director, which is I can't remember the name off the top of my head. She's the short haired. I think she's German, and then she does the interviews on him, and then the gameplay, which I covered as well. So I made videos on all these already, so they're on my channel. Just go back and look through, you'll see. Yeah, so that's all I got. That's all they put out, right? Sign up for beta. That's it. This Funcom and the Funcom logo are trademarks of Funcom Oslo. So the main HQ is in Norway. Maybe she's Norwegian. Maybe she's Norwegian. I don't know. Maybe I don't think he's Norwegian though. Maybe he is. I really don't know. I just thought they were German because they kind of had those names, German names. I lived in Germany for about 13 years. So yeah, I'm not German, but I lived there for quite a bit while. I guess I'm probably gonna end up. That's about it, guys. That's about all. Oh, and one last funny Dune. I always do a funny story before I close the stream. I always do a funny story at the end of every stream where it's something that's related to dunes or Dune. So the last story is gonna be about North Florida Land Trust unveils interpretive signs at Little Nana Dune in American Beach. So when you type Dune, you get this one of the stories. So Nassau County, Florida, North Florida Land Trust joined the community supporters and friends of American Beach to unveil new signs at the beach, the Dune Beach, Nana Dune. The signs positioned near the dune system on Bernie Road explain the area's history and significance of the dunes and the nonprofit's efforts. So I don't really know the importance of these dunes. I think they're just wildlife refugee type stuff. I don't know, refuge. The three signs provide context and the importance of the dunes, highlighting the history of America's beaches, roles, and preserving the critical land. With help from, I think the beaches just keep the storm surges and stuff at bay. I know that's a big thing. And that's about it. So that's a funny story right there. And look, Eve Online always pops up on me, dude, because they know I play it. The internet knows I play it. Let's see. But that's about it for now. Any questions? Just to recap today's stories that I covered before I close the stream. Dune Part 1 is leaving Netflix. Okay, so on October 1st. Dune Part 2 made so much money that it put other movies to shame. That like Disney and all these other companies that have flop after flop after flop. And then Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be worked into Dune Messiah in some form or fashion as Alia. I don't know how they're going to actually do it. They have to have her in it. She has to be in the movie. So I mean, there's no other way around it. So they're gonna have her in it. If you don't have Aaliyah in Dune Messiah, then what the heck are we doing, right? So she's gonna be in it, 100%. I'm hoping another character comes back that we might have thought was dead. That person kind of has to come back too. That's a key part of the book. So, but we'll see what happens with that. I don't want to spoil that. And then we also talked about Dune Awakening. No news yet on when it's coming out. We don't know when Dune Awake. Well, we do. We know it with the range. So early 2025. We just don't have a release date. So if it's and we don't know for sure if it's going to be early access or just a release date. And we don't know when open beta is happening if they are going to even do one. So unfortunately, we don't have a lot of information on that other than that it's still in closed beta right now. You can sign up and hopefully you can get into it. Other than that, we don't know. And yeah, that's about it for now. I will talk to you guys next week. This actually went longer than I thought. This is actually going to be one of my longer streams. Maybe during the week. I still haven't worked in a Dune gaming night. I was supposed to be Fridays. The problem is Friday nights I'm just so dang tired. I go to bed like 8:39 in the week because my full-time job is pretty taxing mentally. So usually on Friday nights I just go to bed. I'm not gonna lie. So I usually just stay up Saturday nights. But that's gonna change when the game comes out. If this channel goes good, if I can make this channel into something like these other big, other people, they make a living off this stuff, their YouTube channels and things like that. If I can do that, then I'll have full time and I'll basically get out of my current job, my current career path, and do this full time if I can. But I would need people to support it, so we'll see how it goes. Yep, I'm just a goofy guy that wants to do Dune stuff, and it's really just for fun right now. So it could blossom into something. Who knows? The channel's approaching 50,000 subs, which I'm like, what the heck? I don't even know what I'm doing. You know what? but we'll see what happens. People seem to like this Dune dedicated channel because I haven't strayed away from that yet. It's still all Dune, but I do everything Dune. So if you guys look through my channels, I got Dune that's freaking merchandise. I got Dune collectibles. I review all kinds of stuff Dune. I need to go and do a Dune mini-series retro review probably, don't I? I bet people would like that. So maybe tomorrow I might look at doing that. I still never finished my Stilgar video. My Stilgar lore video is still sitting there, halfway complete. I still need to do a oh, you know what? Another bit of good news before I end this. I'm gonna keep ranting, dude. I'll talk all night. I gotta go to bed. One more thing. The final batch of my Dune cards got graded, so they're gonna come back. So I had a second little batch of cards I sent to get graded. If you have been following my channel for a while, you know I went hardcore into the Topps Dune cards. Go and check those out if you guys want to see something cool. In a couple videos back, where I do the unboxing of the Dune cards, the Dune Part 2 Topps Limited Series cards. I'll get started on things. I love these dang things, dude. I love them. And I'm still up, and I'm still supposed to do a giveaway on one of those cards that's graded. I just haven't had time to really figure out how to do it right. I don't know what I'm doing with the giveaways, so I need to go. I've been researching it. Eventually, it's happened. It's gonna happen. I just don't know when yet, because I don't know how to do the giveaway. I haven't everything I look up. It's like send them a code and verify and do that and this. I was like, this all just seems funky. So I don't know. I don't trust it. Yeah. So until then, fellas, everyone out there, I appreciate the views. Man, I love the engagement on here tonight. This is probably the most people I've ever had engage with me on a live stream ever. So that was amazing. Honestly, I think I had up to 7 viewers tonight. So 7, 8 at a time. That's like a lot for me. And I know people are like, "Oh, these people get like 10,000 views, dude." I love all of it. So share the videos if you want. I keep everything pretty clean. I keep pretty modern day politics mostly out of my stuff, and then I try to keep it just Dune stuff. So, my videos are just all about Dune. So keep liking it. I try to keep it all entertainment because who wants to deal with real life stuff all the time? It's boring. It sucks. We want to get away from it, right? So this is all just Dune. Let's have fun. We love it. The game comes out. I'll be live streaming that. I don't know how that scheduling is going to look. Since I do have a family and full-time job, my Dune Awakening gameplay scheduling, it's going to be at nights for sure. And it's going to be limited the weekdays, probably. When that game first comes out, I might even take a day. I might even take 2 days off of work when Dune Awakening comes out to live stream it and really just play it for days straight. You know, the problem is I don't think my wife's gonna like that, so I have to figure that out. So yeah, it is definitely hard to be a YouTube streamer when you got a full family and stuff going on in career. So we'll see how it works. But hey, if people want to help me out there, I got my cheap 99-cent membership they can sign up for. If all of my subscribers join the 99-cent crew, guess what? I could quit working and do this full time and make everybody Dune happy. We'll see what happens. This is a joke, but all right, folks. I will finish out the stream now, and I will see you next week for sure, Saturday night, and I'll try to get some videos done this week. So stay tuned. I'm definitely going to get a few videos out this week. But other than that, I will see you guys next time.